And we are continuing to navigate this unemployment maze with you every day. We've heard your struggles and we are searching for answers from the Department of Economic Opportunity. And tonight, On Your Side's Jocelyn Howard brings us those on the edge, vulnerable to losing everything, and the state representative doing his best to hold them all together.
We are getting to about 9 weeks since many people lost their jobs due to the pandemic. That's 9 weeks of bills stacking up, of food costs stacking up, and it's getting harder to hold it together.
Sorry.
As the days pass, the tears pour.
I get emotional.
The main reasons Governor Ron DeSantis says claims aren't being processed, the claimant's identity can't be confirmed, and the claimant did not finish filling out the application.
It's insulting. They're saying they're not doing something right. I've done everything right. I know how to fill out a form.
It is a slap in the face. It's an insult.
State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith is mentally and emotionally drained.
It is not their fault if their application is incomplete. Why? You can only submit on a broken website, and people have tried hundreds of times.
His constituents are crying out for help, and unfortunately, he can't do much more than beg DEO to contact them.
Governor DeSantis went on TV the other day and said that 97% of people haven't paid, and I was like, say what? Like, I literally dropped the cup out of my hand, and I was like, no, that can't be right.
So let's explain that 97.6%. That number represents those who, after finishing their application, were deemed eligible. What the governor has not said is what percentage of money owed has been paid to those people. That 97.6% does not include people whose claims have been stuck pending for weeks. And as they wait, their livelihoods are dwindling away.
I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my electric.
Representative Smith tells me he can no longer tell his constituents to be patient, but to keep their head up. Their day will come. Jocelyn Howard, First Coast News, On Your Side.